Welcome to this crash course on Microsoft Word. We're going to learn Word together through two activities. First, creating a resume, and second, editing a research paper. I think whether you have some experience with Word or not, you're going to find something of value that you didn't know previously about word processing. So let's go to our lab section. Let's go to content. And let's find the MS Word Lab module. Mine's bare bones right now because I haven't set up the semesters yet, but it's going to look something like this. So let's go ahead and click on these instructions. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over here, click more. I'm going to download this as a PDF. And that way I can mark it up in a PDF that has markup tools, or a PDF editor rather. And for me, I'm going to use Edge to do that. Okay, so I got the instructions, and now we're also going to need this research paper for the second activity. So let's go ahead and download that as well. I'm going to open my downloads folder. And when I have a File Explorer window open, if I press Control-N, I can get another one. And I'm going to go ahead and set this in my 1100 OneDrive folder. So I made myself a folder for Word files right there. Let's drag those two in. Let's open this one in Edge. And now we should be ready to get started. Okay. So activity 1, create a professional resume. So I have two students here. We're going to go ahead and choose one of these two personas. I think I'll choose the second one. Doesn't matter which one you choose. And we're going to be basically making this person a resume. And so what you'll be left with at the end is a nice resume template that maybe you'll want to use later. All right, so before we get started, you'll notice that I have up here in the font group on the home page, excuse my voice, I have the font set to Aptos, is probably what yours is going to default to. Well, we want to actually change that to one of maybe these options here, as long as it's something readable. I'm not going to contribute any to the debate on whether you should use serif or sans serif typeface, other than to say that I've seen both. I've seen a lot of nice templates that use sans serif. Serif is more traditional, so if you want to be on the safe side, use serif. I don't think it hurts to use either these days. I don't think most companies are really going to think you're unprofessional if you have a typeface without serifs on it. But it could be wrong. Definitely, if I were targeting a company that seems sort of very traditional, Eastman comes to mind, I guess I would probably use a serif one. But to do that, instead of just setting the font up here, so we have this huge menu, we can choose whatever font we want. We want to instead go to the Design tab. And we want to go over here to Fonts. And this is where we want to say Customize. And I'm going to set this one to, let's say, for the heading, Microsoft has this nice one called Georgia. And then I like Cambria too. I'll use Cambria for the body. Those are both in the, I probably wouldn't mix the two. I probably wouldn't have serif and sans mixed, but I could give it a name like resume serif, something like that. And now you'll look over here. Okay, now it's got that body font applied. So now we're good to go. So we're going to set the margins to 0.6 inches. But you're going to have a problem if your units are not in inches, which is the case for some folks. So go down here to Options, you click File, Options at the very bottom left. Now we're going to go to the Advanced tab, and we're going to look for a, let's see, under Display, we're going to look for this drop down. So see, yours could be set to something else. We're going to set it to inches, and that'll make you able to follow along with these lab instructions. All right, so now let's click margins. Let's click custom margins, and I'm just going to type 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. There we go. We're going to leave it in portrait orientation, and we're going to click OK. So you can see it just narrowed the margins, and that gives me more white space. You don't want to make your margins too narrow, because then if you try to print your page, then text is going to get cut off. But I like to narrow the margins a lot when I'm making a resume, so I can fit as much good stuff as I want to in there. Because a resume shouldn't be, it should just be one page, one side, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and check these two off. Done. Set line spacing to single or 1.15. So what is line spacing? Well, this is a line, this is another. Let me select over these, or this one rather. And we can see that the line spacing right now is at 1.16. So look what happens when I put it at 1. You can see that those two get a little bit closer together. Okay. So let's go ahead and set this. We're going to set our line spacing. And again, I went to the Design tab, and I went up here to Paragraph Spacing, and I'm going to click Custom. And I'm setting this to what it says, single or 1.15. I'll set it to single. Make sure that's okay. So now let's proceed to step 4. Let me get my highlighter. All right. Contact information. So type the student's full name. We're going to make that big, and then below it, we're going to put the contact information. And this is the format we're going to use for that contact information. Okay. So let's go ahead and find that. Taylor Chen. I'm trying to copy this. It's linked to the email, I think is why I'm having trouble. Control C. There we go. And I'm just going to come up here at the top, start with a name. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to format that text yet. Press Control V, paste that, and let's check this format again. Email. This is redundant. We can get rid of this. Phone number. Everybody knows what a phone number looks like. I don't think we have to say it. And then city, state is Austin, Texas. Okay. And by the way, this already has bullets in it. If you're wondering where you can get a bullet symbol within Word, there's this like symbol menu up here. And usually there's a bullet. That one's smaller, but there's one available. And you can expand this out, and there are actually lots of symbols you can find. And I just Google search like bullet symbol sometimes if I can't find what I'm looking for. So I think that looks good. Now I think it said to right align this. Yeah, so we're going to right align Taylor's name. We're going to bold it. And we're going to set it to 16 or 18. There's 16. I think I'll do 18. And since Cambria is my body font, I think I'll use Georgia. Cambria is fine. Doesn't matter, I guess. And let's right align this contact info as well. And then I think it says, yes, add a horizontal line below the contact details. So to do that, we can go to our borders. It's on the home tab. And it's this funny looking little icon down here. Choose a bottom border. Okay. The problem I've noticed with the bottom border is when you hit enter, you see how the bottom border follows your cursor. So I'm actually going to Control Z to the point where I had no bottom border. And I'm just going to hit enter. So I'm giving, I'll do it a couple of times, giving myself some new lines. And now I'm going to come back up here, select this, apply the bottom border. And now I can still get to the next line. Now I go ahead and click this left align button again, so my cursor's back over here. All right, and there you have it. I guess two things with this. You can insert links. So if I press Control K, I got the space in there. Delete that %20 part. It actually just updated for me and added this mail to : and then the email address. What that'll do is if you export this resume to a PDF, which submit a Word document or else we can't verify that you did the work. But for like real world purposes, you're probably going to be submitting your resume as a PDF. Then this will become a clickable link that will actually open in whatever the person's default mail client is set to. So if I'm on my phone and I am on your resume, click your email link, maybe it'll open my Gmail with your email in the to fields so I can send you an email. So it's really nice. So we'll just click, actually text to display, we need to take out this mail to part, but it should be in the address. Then we'll just click OK. It ate my space too. And we can actually do the same kind of thing with a phone number. It's a slightly different link. It's called TEL, and then you type the number. So I would type the number. I would use 1 for the country code US. I mean, you don't know, could have people international that are clicking it, and then type the phone number. I would probably type it without parentheses or dashes in the link version. What you display, you can display it the normal way, the human readable way. And then we'll click OK. And now this works just like the mail to links, where like usually if someone clicks on it and they're on a computer, it might open like Skype or something if they have that. But on a phone, it will actually pull up my number ready for you to dial on your phone if you click it. So those are really cool. I just like to make people aware of those. Let's proceed forward to the education section. I'm going to type, and because I'm going to do a border, I'm going to actually hit the enter key a few times to give myself a few empty lines below that. And I'm going to type education here. And it says capital. If you didn't type it in caps like me, you can click change case here and do uppercase. We're going to set it to 12-point font size. And let's see, Georgia, that's what I'm going to use for my headings. Okay, and bold. So that's pressing Control B or using the option up here on the Home tab. All right, and then it says we're going to put a border below it again. So let's click up here, bottom border. That took away, okay. Let me undo that. Let's try hitting the enter key here, making sure I have some space down there as well. And now let me try bottom border. Okay, so I just had to put another line up there. let's just make this like font size 2. There, that looks fine, spacing wise. Okay. So we've got education. That's our education header. Now, I can save this style to this styles gallery here. That's what this is called. So it's where you have defaults that are going to show up in the navigation. What do I mean by that? If we press Control F, or if we go to, I think it's the View tab here. See, I always use Control F. I forget where it is. Navigation pane. That's what I was looking for. I click headings here. Look at this. There's no navigation. But watch what happens when I go to the styles group here. Set this to heading 1 style. See how that shows up here? And so you can create page navigation by using that. I'm gonna create my own style that I can reuse for, let's call this resume section heading. Okay. So now I'll get to reuse that when I create the skills and so on. Let's go ahead and finish this out. Done that, done that. Now we're going to put the university information. Which is, okay, it looks like I didn't give it for you. So we're just going to use ETSU. East Tennessee State University. And then it says to put the city, Johnson City, and the state. We can even bold this. Okay. And then the next line says freshman, major, colon, and then the major. So I'm going to say freshman, major, I think it was business administration. Okay. Business administration. Oops. So we've got freshman, major, business administration. I can't talk. And then expected graduation date is May 2028. I'm going to say expected graduation May 2028. And now this is okay, but what I like to do is I like to try to think about how can I make my resume very scannable, because once your resume even gets past the bots, which is a challenge in itself, and gets to a human screener, they don't have time. They don't have much time. So they're going to be skimming and scanning very quickly. So I might try to do something like this. Break up this information. I could tab this over. So I just hit my tab key a few times to push this over on the right-hand side. So while this works, we could also right align this. But see how that pulls it over? So while this works, this is better. What I like to do is actually insert a table and then kind of make the table invisible later to do stuff like this. And I say this because this is like something that I figured out very late. So this is a tip for you guys. This makes, to me, alignment things like this so much easier. So because this is essentially, I'm looking at what I want to be 2 rows and 2 columns, I'm going to go to the Insert tab here and make a 2x2 table. I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy this. You can press Control C, or you have this group up here of options. Cut is Control X, and I'll actually remove it. So let's actually press Control X, cut, and then to paste it, you can click up here or press Control V. I'm going to paste that there. Now I'm going to cut Johnson City. I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to cut that, put it here, and put this over here. Now I'm just going to select all this, hit the backspace key, and get rid of it. So now, and this is not requirement, I'm just showing you for your own sake how to make this a little bit more attractive. I right align this, these two. Paragraph group is where you find those alignment options. And now I'm just going to take away these borders so you can't even tell there's a table there. So I click no border and look at that. Brilliant. Notice there's not much space between these. I can actually, let's put my borders back for a second. I'll click all borders. I can drag this down, or you could use the after paragraph spacing. It just makes sure I have a little bit of space between those vertically. And let's get rid of that. No border. Beautiful. And look how scannable that is, right? Okay. And then it says we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add our high school information. So guess what I'm going to do here? I'm going to copy this whole table. So I'm going to left click and drag from the rightmost row all the way to the first one. Press Control C. And I'm going to come down here. I hit the down arrow key to go on that next new line. And I'm going to press Control V there. I'm going to actually hit the enter key to do a space between there. Okay. So I just copied and pasted my whole table because it's already formatted how I want it. And then we have, okay, Westlake High School. I'm not going to bold that because I don't really care. Like, I want them to pay attention mainly to my my college where I'm at right now. Let's see, we're in Austin, Texas. Graduated. So instead of expected, we're going to say graduated down here. May, what, 2024? Guess we took a gap year, right? GPA 3.9. 3.9. And that's a solid GPA. I'm going to bold that. Let that GPA pop. So I'm not a career services person, but if your GPA is like, you know, 3 point, I don't know where to put the cutoff. If it's pretty good, I'd highlight it. If it's not, I wouldn't list it on the resume. All right. So next we have to do the skills section. So we've done all this, check. Now we got to do our skills. Okay, 3.5 or higher. Yeah, that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Creating skills, same formatting. All right, so let me show you guys something really cool. It's called the Format Painter. So I want this heading here. Now, I already saved it as a style, so all I have to do technically is skills. And then I can just go click up here. But another way is I can use this thing called the Format Painter. So if I type skills here, I want to copy this. It's a little brush icon up here on the Home tab. And it copies the formatting of whatever you select. So if I select this and then click it, now whatever I select next, I left click and drag over it. Watch. Boom. Now I've noticed this doesn't include the uppercasing for whatever reason. So we'll just have to add that back. I don't know, man. And there we go. And now we're going to bullet point their skills. Let's see. Where are their skills? Okay. Oh, that's wrong one. All right. So we got Microsoft. Let's just copy all this. And then we can paste it in. Whoops. I'm going to Control Z this, hit the enter key here so it doesn't take away my border when I press the enter key. Really annoying that it does that. Okay, I'm going to paste all these, so Control V. And it said I'm going to put bullet points for these. So first what I'm going to do is start by removing the commas, and I'm going to hit the enter key. So I'm going to delete this space, delete the comma, enter, and I'm separating these out all into a list. And then I can select these, and we have our bullet points right here. Now you can customize these, and there are tons of symbols you can choose from. One time I was making something wintry, and I chose a snowflake symbol and made blue snowflake bullet points. So there are all kinds of bullets you can define. You can even import pictures and make bullet points from that. We don't want to do anything goofy and weird for our resume though. Now I'm looking at how much vertical white space that takes up and thinking, why not try putting these in a table again? So let's see, Control X. There we go with that border thing again. Let's get rid of this border. And I need to uppercase this again too. Oh, the fun. Don't we love formatting Word documents? Okay, so now I'm going to go to Insert, Table, and I'm going to choose 3 by, how many skills we got? I think 3 by 2 columns should be, or 2 rows should be enough. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try kind of moving these around. So let's get rid of this indentation now. So what I can do is if I click this, this will decrease the indent level. And I'm going to try to basically fit these bullet points where it's like 1 per cell basically. And what the reason I'm trying to do this is I'm trying to save more vertical space for myself and just use it more effectively. Okay. I think that looks a little bit better. Now let's take away our borders. I wonder if I could, oh, that's fine. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay. So you've got our skills. Now, different folks, sometimes they will separate their hard skills, like using the Microsoft 365 suite, from soft skills like public speaking. I don't know, these are all kind of bunched up. Talk to Career Services. They can help you, get this all nice and neat the way you want it. Let's do experience next. Create heading experience. Okay. Same formatting as before. I'm going to hit enter here. Whoops. Get a few new lines. I'm just going to copy this. Paste it here. Experience. So that wasn't very helpful because it didn't copy the border. And let's get rid of this line. Well, I guess we do have, that just looks a little bit off to me. So I didn't quite like having a full line in between each, but I don't want them bunched up like this either. So what I'm going to do is set some before paragraph spacing on these. I'll try 12. Why not? That's pretty much exactly how I wanted it. Perfect. And to save that, so that I don't have to do it again, I'm going to right click. I'm going to say update to match selection. which incidentally messed everything up for some reason. Let's try this. Okay, let's see. Update. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Sometimes Word's quirky. Anyway. Experience. Create heading experience for each position. Use bold for the job title and the organization. Okay, so let's look at what job titles we have. Look at this. They're already bolded. Let's copy this. I was too nice to you, wasn't I? So let's copy these and paste these in here. It's eating my... Try this. Okay, I see what's happening. Everything is being treated as that style. I'm going to set it back to normal, and then I can fix it. Okay, so let's do this. These bullets that I copied and pasted, they don't quite match up with the other ones. So let's just manually set those just by doing this. Boom. And this. And by the way, if you go to view and you turn on this thing called ruler up here, this will let you adjust where you want the indentation to be, so you can customize it exactly. And then you can use the styles gallery, and you can basically save that style. But I like the default, looks fine to me. And then let's just bold these. Control B. I missed a bullet point here. So if I press backspace and then hit enter, it automatically makes that a bullet. And let's bold that. So I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to add a little bit of before spacing here. Let's try 6 points. Just to space that just a little bit. Okay. And then I think we just have activities. Yeah, so we've done all that. And I think this is very nice and scannable, which is what we want. Hit enter a few times. And let's apply this style and uppercase it again. And I put that new line there so that when I paste the activities below, it won't eat my bottom border as it's been doing. And I think we just have one thing. Oh, we have a few. Okay. Let's copy these, paste these here, get rid of these commas. And we could bullet these and leave them just like this, or we could use the table as well. That's up to you how you want to kind of do that. Let me try copying this row and seeing if I can do that. See what that looks like. I think that might look good. Let's see. DECA Business Club. Debate team. Volunteer at food thing. Sometimes people also separate activities, like they might have like volunteer work kind of separated from them. Would this person not have... I actually don't like how much these are spaced out. It looks kind of weird. That's why we have Control Z. Look at that. With this person not having many activities in general, I don't really feel like there's a need to kind of separate these out. you could even change this to activities and volunteering or something like that. There isn't a prescribed like one size fits all. This is the right way to make a resume. All right. So just keep that in mind. So we got that, final touches. So I think this looks pretty good. One thing I'm going to do, and this is just a personal thing, I don't know the career services people, I don't know what they would say about it, but I want to kind of give this a little color to make it pop. Not something crazy like red, although that's actually kind of nice. I think maybe I'll do blue as a more conservative choice. Maybe a darker blue even. But I just thought if I did this, wonder if I can just update this. Well, now I ate my spacing I did there. Let's Control Z that. I'm going to update this one to match selection. There we go. So now I kind of made that pop a little bit. I seriously don't know why it's doing this border. Let's remove this. Okay. I don't know. I kind of like it. I think it makes these headings pop a little bit in the name. Okay. So the final thing we're going to do is just a spelling and grammar check. So what's cool is Word has really good kind of spelling and grammar built-ins by default. So if you look down here in this status bar on the bottom here, you can see it says text predictions on. If I click on that, it takes me to the advanced Word options. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, advanced I don't really care about. If you go to proofing here, check this out, guys. You have all these settings that you can turn on that will kind of automatically check your spelling. So look at this. There are even settings for other languages, which is cool. Writing style, you can choose, you can customize this based on different writing styles. So this is outside of the scope of our class. You can Google around and find preferred settings for different styles. Ask your professor if you're in a writing class. But I like things like wordiness. I like suggestions for that. I like suggestions to make sure that I have like, I don't know why it's not checking for that one thing, but all kinds of different grammar things that you can set. I like to avoid cliches, honestly, so I can check that. So you can, that's one I don't want in my papers. You can just basically customize this to your need, especially if you notice your professor has little pet peeves about writing style. You can have that built-in grammar checking for you. So we'll click OK. And to actually run a grammar check, we're going to go to the Review tab. We're going to go to Spelling and Grammar and just click on that. And the editor score is going to give us a score here based on several things. Inclusiveness. Term may not be inclusive for all genders. Well, sorry, Word, that is the term. I'm going to ignore that. Let's see what other suggestions it has for me. And again, if you didn't like this kind of suggestion, I think that's something you can turn off in the proofing settings. I actually like to keep it on because more often than not, I do change those. Let's see, grammar. You may have forgotten punctuation. I feel like, I mean, we could, yeah. Let's do that. Period. Okay. But you can just keep on clicking through the kind of next arrow. And there we go. So I'd say now We are in business. We have proved this, and we have a good, solid resume here for somebody who's, just a college freshman. This is a solid resume. So that's one project done. I'll see you for activity 2.